morning, everybody. This is Ricky, and welcome to Hope for Today. I want to remind you of the power of being yourself. The power of being yourself. My big sister in the faith said a couple of weeks ago, be yourself. Everyone else is taken. This idea that God broke a mold when he made you. In fact, David wrote a psalm and he cried out in this song that was so beautiful. Here are the lyrics. It said this, Lord, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. It's this idea that God, the maker of heaven and earth, in his beautiful plan and imagination, the same creator who made not only a killer whale, but an aardvark too, put as much intentionality and invention when he made you. Now, we think over 100 billion people have lived in history, right? And if the Lord tarries for a couple of more centuries, there'll be hundreds and hundreds of billions of people made. You can't even fathom how many people that is. And yet not one of them has the same kind of fingerprint. What's the idea? It means that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are a beautiful creation, and that God broke the mold when he made you. And I'm saying all that to say, if he made you the only you there is, you may as well be you, because everyone else is taken. John chapter 1 speaks about John the Baptist in verse 23, I believe it is. They're just asking him who he is. And he basically says, I am the voice of one crying out in the wilderness, make straight the way of the Lord, as the prophet Isaiah said. And it goes on to talk about John the Baptist's ministry. John the Baptist was an interesting cat. He took on a Nazirite vow, which in the Jewish order basically meant that he was going to be weird. Like Nazirites were weird. Okay, like essentially what it meant was that he was weird. Okay, so John the Baptist has this Nazirite vow. It meant that he never cut his hair as long as his life was. And so he's probably around 30 here in John chapter 1. So you don't need to picture clean cut shaven. Dude probably has dreadlocks down his back, okay? You couldn't eat anything from the grape whatsoever. No wine, couldn't even eat grapes or raisins. And who wants raisins anyway? You had this prayer kind of life, and he was in somewhat of a recluse. Like he would come around people to preach, but then he would go away. The Bible says he had this camel hair Speedo. Okay, so like literally just a thing down there. Okay, so he wasn't a three-piece suit kind of guy. What else did he do? He ate wild locusts and honey, right? Like who does that? Like, imagine how lonely his cafeteria days were. Like, hey, I got peanut butter and jelly. Hey, I got ham and cheese. Hey, Johnny, what do you have? I've got dead bugs. It's weird. But when you read the Bible, his weirdness brought many to God. Him not being afraid or ashamed to lean into being that fearfully and wonderfully made person he was the secret to opening the doors for people to hear about Jesus Christ. And Jesus said it himself when he said about his cousin, John the Baptist, there's never been a greater person in existence. And what was Jesus saying? Because John the Baptist was willing to be who he was, it unlocked doors for many around him. And God told me to tell you that it's okay for you to be weird. It's okay for you to be different. It's okay that people don't get you sometimes. It's okay that people don't understand you. But here's the good thing that we learned about John the Baptist. He was leaning in into who God created him to be and doing what God told him to do. And Jesus said, well done, John the Baptist. Listen, some of you are wasting a lot of energy and wasting a lot of time and wasting a lot of dollars trying to look like someone else, be treated like someone else, be admired like someone else. And that's exhausting. And God says, hey, I made a big investment and I broke a mold and I waged my bet that if you show up the way I destined and created you to show up, it would change the very world around you. And I'm here to tell you that can't happen while you're working real hard to be somebody else. Okay? Let me close with this. I used to get held back in my ministry and in my heart and in my life because I believed a lie that I was weird, and that was bad. I am weird, okay? Like, I ain't saying I'm great. I'm just saying I'm great at being weird, okay? country, yet I read Chaucer and Dickens and all the classics. I'll use a Greek word and crunk in the same sermon. Okay, I'll go from crying to laughing, back to crying, and then screaming, and then quiet, and then back all the way in the same 20-minute sermon. I'm weird. And that used to just put bars around me, because it's just like, Lord, I've never seen anybody like this be successful. I've never seen anyone like this be trusted, God, to lead a significant ministry. But God heals all wounds in it. And day by day, he said, hey, I've used weird people before. In fact, I like using weird people, and I'll use weird people again. So you may be weird, you may be cool, you may be boring, you may be exciting, but whoever you are, it's what God was dreaming of when he made you. So be you, because everybody else is taken. That's hope for today. I'll see you next time.